How's it going? My name is Matthew McInerney. I am a second year here at Centennial College's Game Development program, and today we're going to be analyzing the world and writing of our favorite dystopia, Cyberpunk 2077. Let's take a visit to Night City. Sky-high crime rates, poverty and wealth inequality as far as the eye can see. It's you versus the world, and no two ways about it. The moment you let your guard down is the moment you lose everything in this city. You live in this city through the eyes of V, a lowly merc just trying to get by. However, one day, thanks to a botched heist, you end up with the conscience of a legendary rebel who lived decades before your time in your head, slowly taking over your own consciousness. Now, in a world where you can't even trust what's inside your own head, you must hunt down those with the know-how to remove this other conscience safely. Easier said than done. Those with the knowledge work for the company in which you stole it from, a company with an almost dictatorship-like grip on the city. As you play through the game, you meet various people, all trying to get their name out there. Whether it's a street racer with a grudge, a politician just trying to make things right again, or lowly crooks with nothing to their name, everybody wants the same thing. And as unlikely as it seems, you do meet companions you can trust. As few and far between as they may seem, you then want to protect them from the numerous dangers lurking within this neon hellscape you call home. As you make choices in the game, making friends and enemies alike, the game actually rewards you for thinking ahead, trying to predict what the outcome will be and which choice favors you in the long run, but again, it's much easier said than done. You spend the whole game psychoanalyzing decisions and choices to tip the ever-biased scales to your side. Even small decisions such as deciding to go into enemy territory, either guns blazing or completely under the radar, could net you certain rewards. And even bigger decisions, ones in which certain NPCs will, once they were your friends, now they dislike you. These make or break alliances could easily turn the tide in your most desperate moments. There's a side quest in the game in which a bartender at a bar you frequent asks you to street race through the streets of Night City on her behalf. However, the twist is that the passengers can actually shoot at the other participants. So, you go along, you race through, and you win all of these races. But it's only at the final race that her true intentions become clear. There is a participant that killed her husband long ago, and now she wants revenge. During the last race, you must make a choice, either win the race or help her exact revenge. Personally, I chose to complete the race, much to her dismay, but now every time I walk into the bar, she refuses to serve me.
You? No, you can leave. I'm not serving you a thing.
However, I believe that I still made the correct decision. Revenge is a double-edged sword that helps nobody in the end. Then comes the final mission. You know this is the final mission because the game even suggests that you complete all side quests and various tasks before embarking. Obviously, I won't spoil the final mission, but I will say that it does not disappoint. A culmination of all your decisions, your choices, even mistakes that you've made, and the relationships you've built along the way. During the mission, the game then gives you a couple of choices that you have to do what you've been doing throughout the entire game. You must think ahead, try to predict, and try to get the best ending possible. Of course, it is nowhere near obvious which choice leads to the best endings. But nonetheless, you must choose, and the only thing you know for certain is that these choices will drastically impact the ending of the game. Then you play through the final mission, and then, at the very end, once you know it's over, you're given one more choice. Everything has led up to this choice, but both choices, they're neither good nor bad. But here's the difference between this specific decision and any other decision that you've made throughout the entire game. There is no more predicting. There is no more psychoanalyzing, there's no more guesswork, there's no nothing. You're given two choices, and each choice will play out exactly how it's given to you. They're exactly what it sounds like, and it was a very sobering moment for me. After roughly 70 hours of gameplay and 70 hours of desperately trying to resist the tide of the oppressors, I'm given a choice with no ulterior motive behind this. It just is what it is. And just like what I've been doing throughout the whole game, I made my choice. The ending that I got, It was neither good nor it was bad, it just simply was. It left me with a very bittersweet feeling, like no other game has. I mean, thanks to this expertly crafted world that was written, I was able to become more invested than any other game that I had played. Now, if you're to consider the ending that I got and put into, I guess, normal terms, normal relativity, it would be bad. But I didn't hate the ending because it was the ending that I got. It was the ending that all of my choices had led up to, and all of the mistakes that I made and the relationships that I had built. It was essentially what I deserved. There was no other game that I had gotten heavily invested to like Cyberpunk, and then to have them flip the script like that right at the final choice to completely 180, it kind of showed, simply put, when it's all said and done, that all choices matter, big, small, and everything in between. When players finish a story-driven game, the thing that they remember the most is the ending. In fact, this kind of goes for any piece of fiction ever. Landing an ending is paramount to giving the viewer a lasting impression. Now, this can be done in a number of ways, whether it's a crazy major twist, a concise and neatly cleaned up plot, or a stupid impressive fight scene. But I feel like Cyberpunk did the opposite to all of this. It slowed right down. It gave the player time to think, relax, and truly understand the situation that they were in. Then it poses its final choice, its final question, abandoning all the tropes that had built up throughout the entire game. All the deception, the trickery, the high stakes decisions, all of it gone, and replace a melancholic splash of cold water. You must put V, a character who you've come to shape through your decisions, into a future that you know exactly how it plays out. And it's thanks to the fact that you've become so invested in V and so invested in the world around you that giving the player such a flat out choice that's neither good nor bad is one of the most difficult things I'd had to do in the entire game. It's thanks to that investment that Cyberpunk can have such a memorable ending, regardless of which ending you've got. The world of Cyberpunk is easily one of the best worlds and most expertly crafted and written worlds to come out within recent memory. Something that I noticed throughout all of my playthroughs is that I never ever fast traveled. Even when the objective was completely across the map, I would just simply call up my car, put on the radio, and drive through the city. It's just something about driving through, seeing the lights, even the advertisements, the city for all its flaws. There's a strange poetic nature into loving a city like Night City. You may love it, but you're really not supposed to. After you finish the prologue, you're bombarded with stuff to do, places to go, things to explore, side quests, small gigs, ongoing crimes to stop, even cars and apartments to shop for. There are also major side stories that can even be completely skipped and ignored, tales left completely untold. But the thing about these stories is that once they're finished, everybody in the story, they never really end up happy or entirely happy. And the reason is very simple. Night City is a horrible place. Shit things happen to good people, to innocent people, but I can't just help but love it. I have never played an open world game in which I just simply want to exist in the world. Night City though, Night City just feels like a real world, and I know that under the surface, all the NPCs are just shallow AIs whose only purpose is to walk around and simply be there. But the entire culmination of these little tricks that CD Projekt Red use just perfectly clicks with me. I was one of the many who downloaded this game as a coping mechanism after watching Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and with only that show and its launch reputation as prior knowledge, I didn't really have many expectations going into this. But then to come out the other side, having this game now easily in my top 3, is an experience I will never forget. Then, once you're so incredibly invested in this world, you hit the end and you know it's the end, and you know what you have to do. But just remember, in the end, the city always wins.